The ordinary music of a life that was finally, tentatively starting to feel like his. And then, a soft sound, just behind us. We turned around slowly. Rusty was standing, not crouching, not sitting, standing on his hind legs, back pressed flat against the wall, front paws folded neatly against his chest, watching. Looking directly at us with those amber eyes, like a little person who was trying to say something he didn't have the words for. We didn't move. We just looked back. And for the very first time since he'd come home, he didn't look away. That was the beginning of everything. And from that exact moment, something shifted. Something quiet but unmistakable. Rusty started to understand. This house was different. Nobody was going to take him back. The calm here was real, and it belonged to him too. After about 2 months, his real personality started coming through. He became genuinely curious. He moved through every room like he was claiming each space for the very first time. He found the best sunny spot by the window and made it his throne. He learned what the can opener meant. He started to play, tentatively at first, then with sharp, focused energy, chasing a toy across the floor like it was the most serious mission in the world. And he never stopped standing upright. When he wanted attention, he'd stand. When something caught his eye, he'd rise up and look. Sometimes we'd glance over from work and he'd just be there, upright, patient, front paws folded against his chest, like he was waiting for us to say something worth hearing. Every single time it made us laugh, because it looked exactly like a person who had decided to become a cat and hadn't fully committed to it. What nobody saw coming was what happened next. One morning, after months of careful inches and quiet progress, he climbed up onto the bed, settled across our legs while we were reading, tucked his chin down onto his paws, let out the slowest, longest exhale, and just stayed. Like he had finally, after all those months, put something heavy down. Because he had. Before Rusty came into our lives, there was a quiet grief no one had fully named, a kind of loss that had closed something off. We hadn't understood how much we needed something to show up for every single day, until he was there, standing at the doorway, front paws folded, watching. Like simply being present was the most important job in the world. He didn't fix what was broken, but he changed the air in that apartment. He changed something deep inside, something we never could have reached alone. There is a moment somewhere between the day he arrived and the day everything changed that is impossible to pinpoint exactly. A moment when the guarding stopped, when the waiting stopped, when Rusty stopped living inside the question of when this would all be taken away. If you are thinking about adopting, please remember this. They don't always arrive healed. Sometimes they come still carrying everything. Be patient, be steady, just be near them. Because the love a rescue cat gives you once they finally believe you are truly safe reaches something that nothing else ever can. From that morning on, nothing about that decision ever felt uncertain again. Some cats show love loudly. Rusty shows it with a pause at the doorway, a slow blink, and 2 small paws pressed quietly against his chest. So here is the question I keep coming back to. Do you think a shelter cat chooses to trust again, or does trust choose them the moment they finally feel safe? Tell me in the comments.
He didn't run to the door when they brought him home. He didn't sniff around with curiosity. He didn't explore. He just stood there, right in the middle of the hallway, still, completely still, like he was waiting for something terrible to happen. And the look in his eyes, it wasn't fear. It was something quieter than fear, something heavier. It was the look of a cat who had stopped expecting anything good from the world. And nobody in that shelter, not one single family, had ever bothered to look closely enough to see it. But to understand why this orange cat had learned to disappear into walls, why he pressed himself into the narrowest gaps and refused to make a sound, and why 8 long months later he did something nobody saw coming, we have to go back to the very beginning, because what happened next would change everything. Rusty had spent nearly 8 months in a shelter, 8 months of metal cages and fluorescent lights, 8 months of constant noise, constant strangers, constant quiet disappointment. He was 2 years old, fully grown, Not a tiny kitten that melts hearts at first glance, just an orange tabby with long fur, a broad chest, and serious amber eyes. Family after family came through those doors. They pointed at the kittens. They pointed at the younger cats. They walked right past him, every single time. When the shelter coordinator handed him over, she pulled them aside and said something quietly. He might not act like a cat who's been rescued. Not at first. They smiled and nodded. They thought they understood. They didn't. He had learned something in those 8 months. He had learned to be invisible. He had learned that existing too loudly meant being overlooked. And so he made himself small as an orange cat with a broad chest can possibly make himself. Inside the house, it became immediately clear how much those 8 months had shaped him. He moved low to the ground, almost crawling, like he was trying to take up as little space as possible, like he was afraid of being noticed at all. He didn't meow, not once. He found the narrowest gap between the wall and the couch and pressed himself into it as deep as he could, and that's where he stayed. A soft bed was put out for him. He ignored it and slept on the bare floor. Toys were placed around the room. He walked past them without a glance. The sound of the television made him flinch. Running water in the kitchen made him flatten against the ground. A door closing too hard sent him straight back to his corner. Every ordinary sound in that house felt like a potential threat. There was a stillness in the way he held himself, guarded, careful, waiting, like the world had already taught him not to expect anything good. Days passed, then a full week, then 2. Rusty stayed quiet, still watching everything with those amber eyes that carried something impossible to name. Not sadness exactly, more like disbelief, like he was still waiting to be taken back. The shelter coordinator had warned us, but there is a difference between knowing something and feeling it fill every quiet corner of your home. Those first weeks took everything. No sudden movements, no loud voices, no forcing anything. Just sitting on the floor near him, not reaching out, just being close, letting him decide what the distance between us would be. Some days he didn't move toward us at all. Some days, just barely, that distance would shrink by an inch or two. But something in him wanted to try. You could feel it. A small, fragile want buried under all that caution. Something that hadn't been completely extinguished by everything he'd been through. But what happened next would change everything. He started coming to the doorway of the room, just to watch, then closer, always with that careful, measuring expression like he was still gathering data on whether trust was safe. He was there, present, choosing again and again to be near. But none of that prepared us for what came next. I see you still haven't subscribed. Honestly, that stings a little. Hit that button right now. It means everything, and it takes less than a second. Little did we know, this was only the beginning. Around week 3, Rusty did something nobody was prepared for. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon. Working from home meant he had slowly gotten used to the rhythm of the days, the sound of the keyboard, the hum of the heater.